10-20 minutes to go yesterday at the Arms Park.
Well, already Eric Miller on this side was getting into a bit of a tussle there with Dave Hodges of the USA. But that's a thumping kick down into the United States territory. And Kurt Schumann pops one back over the top towards the halfway line. Well picked up there by Conor O'Shea. Oh, tried to just pass it back inside to Peter Claessy, but a misunderstanding.
That's something back shouldn't do, try to do switch passes with prop forwards. It all looked very simple, but Peter Claessy went without it. Far too many turnovers. I don't have the actual statistic, but I'd assume with, well, probably 20 minutes to go, Ireland have committed about 15 errors at the breakdown.
So Eric Miller on the pitch for the first time during this World Cup. So much was expected of him during the Lions tour of South Africa. Unfortunately, was ill for quite a lot of that time. But I'm sure he's going to relish the prospect of getting out onto the park here at Lansdowne Road. Picked up there by Alec Parker for the USA. Still inside the United States half. And still Ireland leading 31 points to 8. Kevin Dalzell looking for options. The little American scrum half. The Irish defence have got to be careful they don't get offside. Tom Takau trying to punch a hole in the defence, but he was brought down too. Dalzell once again. David Newey sees a gap. Conor O'Shea's going to pick that up. He's got plenty of time. He might just be happy to put it under touch. Well, it's a big kick collected by Brian Hightower. We haven't seen a lot of pace from Brian Hightower here today, and that was a silly mistake from the American. He should know better than that.
Yeah, no, we haven't seen a lot of pace, and we certainly have seen too much of that right foot. Lack of execution there. When you've got ball in hand and you're trailing 31-8 with under 20 minutes to go, you keep it in hand.
Well, Brian Hightower, another member of the Gentlemen of Aspen team in the USA. And offside there for the Americans. He came through there like a steam train, and that was the prop forward Ray Lehner, who almost buried Tom Tierney, the Irish scrum half.
They really must be looking to get some structure back into this game, Ireland. It's up to O'Quinnigan and Humphreys to create some structure, to create some phase plays. There's no doubt that tries will come. If they can string together half a dozen rucks, the United States will definitely open up. But they need some structure, and they need to minimise the errors.
Well, one of the most experienced hookers in the world, Keith Wood, aims for the back of the line to Dion O'Quinnigan, his captain. The Irish forwards drive on just outside the American 22. Looking for support. The Irish hooker, Keith Wood, burying in there, but it comes out to Humphreys. Humphreys is caught on the 22. Tom Tierney to O'Quinnigan in the loose. Tackled well there by Luke Gross, this giant American. Tierney once again looking for support. This is a tremendous run by the winger Justin Bishop. One try in the game already, looking for a second. They're 5 metres out, the Irish. The referee playing advantage. He's seen an infringement into the centre. The charge is on now from Kevin Maggs, and they will be penalised this time. The American was caught on the wrong side of Kevin Maggs.
They should pack a scrum here, one would imagine. They'll go for the 7 points as opposed to the 3, but that was much better. 4 or 5 phases of play, pushing it left, going the short side. Eventually, it was Maggs who went one out as they opt to pack the scrum. We all know they can get the pushover. I'd like to see them use Humphreys and try and put something together in the backs here.
And this is some front rows. You said in the first half, Nick, that the Irish have got with Paul Wallace on this side, then Keith Wood and Peter Claessy.
Indeed, and Matt Mostyn, the blindside winger, just hovering in behind.
O'Quinnigan controlling it, picks it up, drives for the line. He's about a half a metre out. Oh, that was so close.
And he just got turned over by the States captain Dan Lyle. Great in defence, Lyle. So we see O'Quinnigan, he picked up, he had his scrum half Tierney on his right shoulder, but he drove, and it was Lyle able to put him on his back. We're in a similar position. Humphrey standing left, opportunities all across the paddock. for the men in green.
The same again, Closey to Tini to his centre. Maggs, well tackled 5 metres out from the United States line, and they just can't break through at the moment.
And they're not breaking through. Dume, I think we've got a red card.
Now then, did I hear professional foul to Dan Lyle? Well, I guess you could say, or you should say, he should know better. But there must be a lot of frustration from this man. He is a tremendous footballer.
Oh, I think he realises that without that professional foul, without slowing the game down, then the States will struggle. We see a very similar move. O'Quinnigan this time opting to pass. It was Maggs on the crash ball. Ireland just rushing things a little. Look at them come screaming in. Yes, it's one thing to try and recycle our possession, but all I have to do is try and get those United States jerseys off the ball.
Well, a simple 3 points there for David Humphries, adding to his considerable total during this match. He hasn't missed a conversion, so he's converted all 4 tries. That is his second penalty.
Touch of frustration from the Irish supporters, though.
There is, and really you have to say, we'll mention this again in a few moments' time, not good preparation for the match against Australia. Ireland leading the United States by 34 points to 8, coming up towards 25 minutes in this second half. And well, Nick, Australia are obviously going to be Ireland's sternest test in this group. And the way Ireland have played here today, they've still got a bit of work to do to get it on song, haven't they?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But again, they'll look at this performance, they'll analyse it on video as Wood takes it forward, and they'll realise they have to get a little bit better.
Well, Keith Wood did that from the first kick-off, or the first kick he received when this match started. He loves going forward. And United States more and more now being caught offside, but they've got to take some risks if they're going to put any pressure at all on the Irish. I
often think, Paul, that if you're going to go through and win a World Cup, it's difficult to have 6 great matches. You've got to have 1 or 2 perhaps where you aren't on cue, and we certainly weren't on cue in 91 in the quarter-final. But what that did was it makes you analyse your performance, it makes you more focused, sometimes it makes you angry, as it did for us in 91. So Ireland will definitely look at this, as Wales will look at their disappointing against Argentina, and all I think it could do is make them improve.
Well, yet another substitution for the United States. Oh, this is better from the USA. O'Quinnigan, Conor O'Shea going charging through there. That was a splendid attack. The ball being spread wide, and for a moment it looked as though the United States defence was in tatters.
That was excellent play from that line out. We've seen Maggs on the crash ball. That time it was the long cutout ball. Here we see it again. From the top, through Humphries. The long cutout ball to O'Driscoll. And there was O'Quinnigan steaming ahead.
Tremendous understanding between O'Driscoll there and O'Quinnigan.
Obviously a well-rehearsed move.
Another substitution. Justin Fitzpatrick is coming on to replace Peter Closey.
Eric Elwood on also for David Humphries.
Well, Closey, brilliant for Munster, as he's been for Ireland over the years. 31 years old now, or 31 caps rather, should I say. But that will add strength. And Eric Elwood is on too. Well, interesting. David Humphries just sneaking off while that substitution was going on. We know that Eric Elwood is brilliant with the boot, but he's not renowned for scoring tries or creating attacking chances. He's very, very solid, though. One of the biggest point scorers ever in Irish Test history. Tom Tierney fires it back inside. Crunched there by Mo'unga for the United States. Tierney once again. Elwood.
Now it's just that lack of execution again for Ireland, just rushing things a little. Elwood was desperate to get that ball to O'Driscoll, but he would have been better in that situation, just dying with the possession, taking their time, cleaning out the USA guys off the ball and relying on the phase possession to score the points.
A big drive coming on from Ireland, putting Dalzell, the American scrum half, under an enormous amount of pressure. He's underneath there somewhere, and there's a steal here. It's Keith Wood. Can he score again? The second try of the match. and it really came out of nothing. That was an American put in the scrum, and he can thank his forwards for that. They drove and they drove until the ball popped up, and there was Keith Wood.
Yeah, the scrum was the key to that. There was the turnover at the breakdown, and he's ever present. As I said in the first half, he can smell a try from a long way off. Look at him, you can see it there. He knows it's coming back. Beautifully positioned. His scrum half wasn't going to have any of that. His second try in Ireland's opening match of the World Cup.
It's not often a hooker scores a couple of tries in a test match, is it?
No, but as I said, he can smell them from a long way off, whether it be on the wing outside, you know, the speed backs, or in the middle there at the back of the scrum.
So Eric Elwood completes the story of Keith Wood's second try. Another 2 points for one of the world's masters at place kicking. Well, Eric Elwood will be delighted to get some points on the board, but it'll be nothing like the delight that Keith Wood will have taken from scoring his second try in Ireland's opening match in this World Cup. There he is again,
the young fan,
the supporter. Well, can that try bring a spring to the step of the Irish? A big boot down the field there from Kevin Maggs. He's played very well here today. Picked up there by the American fullback Kurt Schumann. Tries to dodge back inside, but a good tackle coming in from the youngster O'Driscoll. David Nui. Oh, well, he was under pressure there. Not a bad kick in the end. It takes the United States down to the halfway line, but the Irish will have the throw-in. Justin Fitzpatrick came on for Peter Clersey, the Dungannon prop forward.
I think it's wise that Gatlin's making these replacements. He'll have to start with his number one team, one would assume, against Australia. So it's good to give these guys a bit of experience in the World Cup.
And here goes Wood again. Oh, he's having a great game. Be difficult to go for a man of the match in this one, but I guess one of the contenders would have to be Keith Wood. And Eric Miller drives forward again for the Irish. Maggs back inside. O'Driscoll in support. Malcolm O'Kelly is there too. Oh, and that is going to be offside once again. And the Americans are finding this more and more difficult to cope with. It's Alec Parker.
That was Matt Mostyn, the Irish left wing that appeared with the possession. They're very busy tonight, the Irish, which is good to see.
The referee there just having a little look at his watch. I can tell you we're over the 30-minute mark and about 10 minutes including injury time to go here at Lansdowne Road. Ireland leading the United States 41 points to 8, and I guess you have to say that that is a respectable scoreline, but I think a lot of people were expecting something more in the region of 60 or even 70 points here today.
Yeah, really, the points isn't the objective. We all know that England put 106 points recently on the United States. You can't compare your performance against that sort of a scoreline. I'm sure the Irish will be happy with their enthusiasm, their passion, and at times their moves, but really some of their execution has let them down, and that will be something they'll be working on in the week leading into the Australian match.
Well, the utility back Jonathan Bell is on for Kevin Maggs as the Irish drive forward once more.
No doubt Wood's got his hand on the ball there too. There he is.
Certainly trying. He's going for his hat-trick. Plenty of support. Quinnigan with the headband. The prop forward is there too. Paul Wallace, the British Lion. Ed Morrison puts his flag up, the British touch judge, and having a chat with the players along the way. Well, another substitution. Finding it hard to keep up with some of these. Mark Scharenberg is coming on, and Tom Takau actually they're calling off. Now that's a surprise. Unless he's carrying an injury, Takau has been very, very solid, and on one or two occasions quite dangerous in the midfield for the United States. But I guess part of the success. Oh, Wood's going to do it. Yes, he's got it. Oh. How about that? What a story. Keith Wood a hat-trick of tries, and you will not be able to wipe the smile off his face for a fortnight.
Well, they don't come any easier than that. But then again, the ovations after scoring a try, and indeed a hat-trick of tries, don't often come any bigger than what Wood is receiving here at Lansdowne Road as well. One of his simpler one. But I tell you what, the grandchildren won't know when he tells them he scored a hat-trick that he only had to catch it and dive over.